Hi, my name's Kale Tobias, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about different literacy assessment terms. These are important to know as educators because you are coming in contact with these all the time. The first one is literacy assessment. It can be a useful part of a reading program as long as the focus is the student and their learning, which is fluency and comprehension. The most effective reading assessments help children assess what they do understand, but also what they want to know about text. In our district, we use the reading curriculum called Fountas and Pinnell. So we have a formal assessment we do 3 times, the fall, the winter, and the spring. This shows us where their kids are at based on Fountas and Pinnell's kits. We also do informal assessments daily, weekly, based on our reading groups. This plays a part of remediation because it is taking a look at specific things we are teaching our students or individuals, and if they had mastered these skills. If they have, we'll move on. If they haven't, we will keep practicing those. Reading specialists perform reading assessments with their students all the time. This shows them what they need to teach more of, but also what the students have learned and how they're going to be able to apply those skills during their individual reading time. We need to front load our students when doing reading assessments. That's important so they're not nervous, but also not giving away the test. The more students become familiar with assessments, they won't be as nervous. Our students are very familiar with the Fountas and Pinnell assessments because they are doing them so much starting in kindergarten, carrying on throughout 5th grade. The next term I'm going to talk about is language assessment. This is an assessment used to determine a student's ability to understand and use a desired language. An example is a student listening to a story and being able to verbally talk about the story and having a comprehension check. It connects to intervention because it allows students to determine a student's level, if it's appropriate or if it's a little bit too difficult. Reading specialists use this data to create and form a learning plan for a student to increase learning or language proficiency and appropriate monitoring. Students learn to read, write, and communicate, so this all applies to the students and how they're using this every day. They're also being able to learn how to see their own growth. So my students have charts so they can see their growth over a year. The next term I'm going to talk about is a diagnostic test. It is an assessment that determines the student's strengths and weaknesses. An example is a DAR, which assesses a student's strengths and weaknesses in reading skills. This then will help a teacher and a team of reading specialists determine if the student needs intervention, remediation, or further testing. Reading specialists review this test to determine if they are placed in reading recovery or they have a learning disability with reading and so forth. Students are involved because each diagnostic test is dependent upon itself, and students become more familiar with the process as they go through school, like I have said. Remediation is for students who have temporarily fallen behind in their studies. It is not looked at as like a special ed or resource room. It's literally just looking at what the student needs help with and what you, the teacher or reading specialist, can do to help push them forward. Reading specialist role is providing guidance and support on new instructional strategies during this time. They can give the teachers these strategies, and then the teachers can apply these in their small reading groups. Students learn the content in a new way that is more appealing to them and make connections toward mastering the skills. So it's all about you, the teacher, making it as most engaging and interesting to the students, especially because the ones that have challenges, they're sometimes not that into reading. So the more fun you can make it, the easier it'll be on yourself, but also the student. The next term I'm going to talk about is intervention. The main purpose of reading intervention is to improve students' reading by helping increase their decoding, fluency, comprehension, or vocabulary. These are all key components of reading. So intervention is all looking at these. Some reading interventions that can be used by the